Hey guys, how's it going? It's December 27th, almost 11:30. Hope everybody had a very nice Christmas. I'm not too sure if you're up in Buffalo with just the crazy weather or the other parts of the country where the weather's just been crazy. But I do hope everybody enjoyed their Christmas. We are winding down to 2023. I'm sure you guys have your goals set up, any resolutions you guys hoping to accomplish. I know for me, it's to get myself back in shape. Um, Also, to put more attention into this. Definitely want to say thank you. I noticed I have a few subscribers. You guys seem to like the last few videos, especially anytime I seem to talk about Sasha Banks. That seems to get a lot of hits. But just want to tell you I appreciate it. I'm going to try to keep improving, trying to make the content better. Definitely, leave your comments. Tell me what you think. Definitely want to hear it. Correct me when I'm wrong on things because I know I'm wrong on a couple of things. I know I get my dates and stuff mixed up, but I do appreciate you guys listening, and I hope I can, make things better in 2023 because I think 2023 is going to be a very interesting year, and I think I will make a video hopefully before the new year. If not, it'll definitely be after about what I think is going to happen down the road in 2023, and maybe some of the feuds that we could possibly see. But for tonight's podcast rather, what I want to get into is talk about Rhea Ripley. I've mentioned that a while ago about how Rhea Ripley has just been on fire, and I think she has really made a case for herself that she should be the next one to dethrone Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. And Rhea was lost for some time. Okay, she was great in NXT. She defeated Shayna Baszler to win her first NXT championship, and you can kind of say maybe not a mistake, but this is where her whole momentum just got shit canned, and that's when she faced Charlotte at WrestleMania. And I don't hate that match. I don't hate the concept. I thought it was a pretty interesting idea that Charlotte didn't choose Raw or SmackDown. She chose NXT. One reason of doing that was obviously to show some value to NXT. That NXT, the Women's NXT Championship, just NXT itself, should have been, right there with Raw and SmackDown rather than being seen as the C show or just, a development. That we're here, we're on the same level as you. So I did like that idea. And I even like the idea of how you have the main roster guys going to NXT. So right now you have New Day as the NXT Tag Team Champions. You had Dolph Ziggler go down there and win the NXT Championship and work with Braun Breaker. So I don't hate that. I think it's actually good. I think it's refreshing because you're getting some fresh matchups. Maybe this person is not ready to come to the main roster yet, so let's bring the main roster to him or her. So I do like that concept. So I didn't hate the fact that Charlotte picked, almost said Ronda, Rhea Ripley to face for the NXT Championship, but her momentum got killed afterwards. And, I know some people may see Charlotte as, the John Cena, that anytime somebody work with John Cena, that's when they lost the momentum. And I know some have said the same thing about Charlotte, but I don't think you can really put that on Charlotte because Rhea Ripley had visa issues afterwards. And that's what really killed her momentum because then when she came back, she really floundered. She did her tag team with Nikki Ash. She's had a couple of matches, I think, with Asuka. She really didn't do much, and she really was just really sort of all over the place. But when this Judgment thing came up, that was sort of her resurrection. And I'll admit, I thought this Judgment Day thing was going to fall flat, especially when they swapped out Edge for Finn Balor, because it was a change that just came out of the blue. And are you telling us now, was Vince telling us, I've lost faith in this shit, so let me take out my legend and let me just slip in somebody who I don't get because there's been rumors that Vince doesn't get Finn, and just slip him in there and then just let this thing die. But then Vince went bye bye, and then Triple H, which was stated that Triple H didn't have much faith in this Judgment thing either, but said, I know Finn, really let him run with it and let it go. And I think the Judgment Day has been a little bit better, but I think it's been better because of Rhea Ripley. I don't hate Damian Priest, and I don't like Damian Priest. I don't hate him. I don't love him, but to me, he's just one of those characters that's just there. They're just trying to find something for him to do. I like Finn. I love Finn, but I think Finn was a better heel when he was in NXT. It came off more natural. Here, it seems more forced. Excuse me, of him being a heel. So I like watching him in the ring. I don't know if I like listening to him when he does his promos. Now you have Dom there, and I thought it was a good idea to pull Dom away from his father. I think that was time. It was getting stale with the two of them, and just going away from the storyline. I think it's good for him to learn things from Damian. Yes, Damian may not be as seasoned as Finn, but Damian Priest is on his way up. He's had his mistakes. He's had his successes. So it's definitely great for Dom to be around somebody like that. And Finn is obviously traveled all over the world, different experiences. It's definitely good for Dom to learn. And then you got Rhea. And if you look at Rhea, I see China in the early days with Triple H before DX even came up. I see her. Remember, she was interfering in Triple H's matches where he was having that cage match with Mankind, and she slammed that door on him. She was interfering in the matches that Triple H was having with Owen Hart back in the day. I mean, look at Rhea, just when she just scooped up Carl Anderson to slam him down, just the way she was mocking him and doing the hand gestures and clotheslining guys, hitting the low blows. Just everything has been great, and now they have this whole mommy thing. I mean, it's phenomenal. And to me, Judgment Day has resurrected Rhea Ripley's career, to me. And I think heel Rhea Ripley would make a great Raw Women's Champion and would make the perfect person to defeat Bianca Belair. We know Alexa Bliss is not winning this match. I would expect now we're getting closer to her being reintroduced to Bray Wyatt. And listen, when Bayley didn't do it on her last opportunity, it was clear to me Bianca is staying champion until WrestleMania. So now how do we get that match in the ring? That I don't know. Because I'm of the belief that Becky is going to win next year's Royal Rumble, because WWE looks like they're sticking with the plan of last year they had Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey one-on-one. Now we're going to get Becky versus Ronda one-on-one. So I'm of the belief that Becky is going to win the Royal Rumble. I hope that doesn't happen because, as I have said before, I feel the Royal Rumble for both men and now women, because there's only been 4 women's Royal Rumbles. Let me think. I think it started in 2018, right? So 1, 2, 3. So we're going on the 7th one now. Because the first winner, okay, let me see if I can remember this. The first winner was Asuka, then Becky, then Charlotte. Did Bianca win the one after Charlotte? Yes, Bianca won that one, and then Ronda. Then Ronda won last year. No, Ronda won earlier. Ronda won the 2022 one. Okay, so we're going on to our 6th Royal Rumble now for the women. So you've had Asuka win the first one, Becky won the second one, Charlotte won the third one, Bianca won the fourth one, and Ronda won the 5th one. And I'm going to Wikipedia that to make sure I got that right, going by memory. I believe those were the winners. But you see the names that I just listed, besides Bianca Belair, everybody else, didn't really need that accomplishment. And I get, all right, well, maybe we didn't have somebody, but you could have found somebody. Maybe not the first one, But like the second one, I think you could have found somebody. But for this one, you don't need Becky to win again. You don't need Bailey to win. I don't think it's Alexa Bliss's year to win right now, but have Rhea Ripley win. It's her, to me. This is her year. 2023 needs to be her year. She needs to go on a tear right now as a heel champion. And I think also, and I've always said that if you want to get a group over, okay, the leader may not necessarily have to win the championship, but I think somebody within that group needs to have some gold around their waist. If you're not going to have the tag team and Intercontinental US, then let Rhea carry that Raw Women's Championship. And it's believable that you see somebody like Rhea can challenge and successfully challenge a Bianca Belair. And I like Bianca Belair. I love Bianca, but for me, I'm tired of seeing her with the championship, and I think it's time for a change. To me, the Bayley feud wasn't great. It was to me. Wasn't that great? And I think you can get some good entertainment, especially with Dom hanging around. You can get some good entertainment between those two. And I think you can set yourself up for for Royal Rumble. Oh, Jesus. For WrestleMania, you can have Dom versus Ray, and you can have Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. And if you want to stretch it, you can have Edge versus Finn. There's talk about having Edge versus Finn at the Royal Rumble in a Hell in a Cell match. I mean, if we're going to do that, I mean, Royal Rumble's a month from tomorrow. So if we're going to do that, I think we got to get hopping on it. Now, there is one more match in between, and that is Beth Phoenix versus Rhea Ripley. And we haven't seen Edge in a while, and the reason being, if you haven't seen it, is because of the way his contract is structured. And if this was Vince still around, I think Vince would probably have glossed over what happened at Extreme Rules. Because at Extreme Rules, the way it ended, you're expecting to see a mixed tag of Finn and Ripley versus Beth Phoenix and Edge. That's what you're expecting. The question is when. So now, since I believe there is no February event, you would do it at WrestleMania. If they go along with the one-on-one match at the Royal Rumble, which at this point, I don't think we need to do another one-on-one match with Finn and Edge. I really think you could do the mixed tag match between the two, and I think you can just end it there. And again, I think that's a good way. If you have that match, Beth pins Rhea Ripley, but then Rhea Ripley later on can come out and win the women's Royal Rumble match. But I think they're going to go with Becky because they're going to want Becky to challenge Ronda Rousey. Not to mention, Becky just came back. Becky is the hot thing right now. Could they throw a wrench in there where we have, part of Damage Control help eliminate her? That's possible. I do think Charlotte Flair is going to pop back up, but I think it's a mistake to have Charlotte Flair win. I really think it has to be Rhea Ripley. Could they decide to go with Charlotte? Yeah, but do we want to see a Charlotte and Becky Lynch? I'm sorry, a Charlotte and Bianca Belair at WrestleMania? I mean, yeah, that's a big match, and I believe they've only encountered each other one time. But I think you got to go with Rhea. I think Rhea versus Bianca. I don't know if I should say it's a better match or a bigger match than having Charlotte and Bianca. I think you can wait. I think you can wait another year for Charlotte and Bianca Belair. I really do. Because to me, Bianca has really established herself as somebody who is up there with the Charlotte, who is up there with the Bianca, up there with the Becky Lynch. That match can wait another year. I don't think, depending on how Rhea is booked in the future, I think right now you need to capture what you got right now. And I think you need to top that off with her winning the championship. Beating somebody as big as Becky right now, as Bianca right now, you got to do it. You got to do it. And let's say Becky was a champion runner. I would say, okay, Rhea needs to be Becky. But you have built Bianca Belair. You sort of built her in the mold of a Becky, that she's so hot and that she's so strong. She's difficult to beat. I'm not going to go as far as to say she's a female John Cena, but you have built the case where, yeah, beating her is a big deal. And that's why I think that's a good run for Rhea Ripley. They brought in Mia Yim. They're supposed to be like the Rhea solver, and I'm not quite sure if that ever happened. I don't know what happened with that, but it didn't kill. To me, it didn't kill her momentum. But I think to pick up on that momentum, have this girl win. Now, I think you can even capitalize even more, especially what we just saw over the holidays. So if you didn't see it, WWE.com, they filmed this segment where, if you remember, for Thanksgiving, Ray went to the house, Dom went to his parents' house, assaulted Ray and whatnot. They decided to do the same thing for Christmas. Although the twist was this time was that they called the cops to have them arrested. But when Dom shoved Ray, Mama, Dom's, the real Mama, Dom's mother, came to slap him. Rhea caught her hand, and Mama popped Rhea with the other hand. And I'm like, perfect. That's what you got to do. Because I have said, how do you get this match? How do you get Dom and Ray? You have to attack Ray's wife. And with, I think her name was Angie, with Angie slapping Rhea Ripley, that opens that door for Rhea to somehow, whether she comes to SmackDown or comes to Raw, whatever you can get them back in the same place, that leaves license for Rhea Ripley to attack her. Maybe do the riptide to her, put her in submission, I don't know. But that accomplishes two things. That gets you the match for Ray versus Dom at WrestleMania, because it's not going to happen at the Royal Rumble. And that gives you more heat and builds up more momentum for Rhea Ripley. Where if she wins, now Bianca can make that case like, this girl has just been out of control and she needs to be done. It's perfect. You're linking those two stories together. So I'm hoping, we have, like I said, Royal Rumble is a month away. We have another couple of weeks where we start building and see who's doing what. I believe nobody's even declared being in either Royal Rumbles. But Rhea Ripley would be my first choice. But part of me thinks that they're going to have Becky win, because they're going to end the Bayley stuff before WrestleMania. They're going to end it before that. So Bayley winning, Bayley's had her chances, and I think we're kind of tired of seeing Bayley, get those opportunities. And I feel the whole damage control thing hasn't been, that exciting. So I think that's going to be done. I expect to see Charlotte return at the Royal Rumble. I don't know who's going to eliminate her. Rhea could eliminate her. There's history between the two. That can give another rub to her that she tossed out Charlotte. You could say, okay, well, would they have Mia Yim toss out Rhea Ripley? I hope not. But that's what I think. And if it's not Rhea, I think it's going to be Becky. But we'll see how more, this stuff progresses. But that's my number one pick for that. And I think you guys would agree, just watching Rhea, especially over the last month and a half, she's been phenomenal to watch. And you could definitely see the resurgence in her career, because it wasn't going anywhere. Her tag team run with Nikki Ash was nah. The feud that they had was nah. Nobody cared. But I think people care now. Because you can't help but be entertained what you're seeing and what she's doing. You can't help it. And the stuff with Dom, is very Eddie Guerrero esque. Back when him and China were a tandem back in the day. He says mommy. It was Mamacita back then. I mean, you gotta enjoy it. I mean, I look forward to it. Like I said, I thought the whole Judgment thing was dead after they swapped out Edge, and it's very fortunate that Triple H decided to see this through because I don't know what would have happened to Rhea if Judgment Day didn't keep going. There's a possibility Rhea could have went back to NXT, possibly gone back. I mean, there was no talk of that. I'm just speculating that because what was she doing? Nothing. Nothing of substance. So I think Rhea has done a phenomenal job, and I think it would be a missed opportunity not to capitalize on it. And I think it would be a missed opportunity if you just kept her involved in the Mysterio issues. I'm not saying separate her completely, but why can't she do both? Why can't she do both? And that could make it interesting that maybe Dom might say, "Hey, let me go for a change." You never know where it could go after that. Where do I see the Judgment Day ending? Oof. Now, as much as I just talked about Rhea Ripley, this might sound a little weird for me saying, but I think you might have to end the Judgment Day after WrestleMania, because if Rhea Ripley wins, you know, she could start getting a big head where she thinks she doesn't need the Judgment Day anymore. I mean, that could be the beginning of the end for them. Because who are they feuding with now? So they've been feuding with Mysterio. It looks like they're done with AJ Styles and the Good Brothers. Who are they really feuding with now? Where do they go next? And if you can find something interesting and compelling for them to do, they'll say, okay, maybe they can hang around a little bit longer. But depending on where they go with them from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, I think it might be time to split them up. Because I think Rhea has built enough momentum that she could be maybe not solo, but she can keep the tandem going with Dom. And that might be a little bit tricky too because we all know what we're building up to. We all know we're building up to that Dom versus Ray match. And then you can kind of say, well, where does Dom go after that? You know? And if that's the case, maybe they would keep Judgment Day going together. But I definitely think you can make that case that they could disband, but Rhea can keep going and keep going with Dom. Maybe she sees Dom as part of her ticket of her keeping the title should she win it. So that's going to be an interesting nugget of what happens with that group. But we shall see what happens with that. I'm not going to talk about the men's Royal Rumble right now. I'll wait until I do my preview of my early predictions of the Royal Rumble. Because, like I said, I mean, the women's Royal Rumble, like I said, it's really just 6 years old. The other men's Royal Rumble has been around for over 30 years, and like I said, my big thing is that you have to start using this Royal Rumble to help get some of the younger guys out there. And this year is going to be a little bit different because you have Cody and you have The Rock hanging out there. Excuse me, because one of those two is definitely going to be the winner. And it's already been mentioned that if they don't have The Rock, the backup plan is Cody, who looks like he is well on his way of road to recovery and is fully expected to be at the Royal Rumble. So I believe they need to Rock to confirm within another week, week and a half, if he's going to do this or not, so they can start setting things in plan. But I'll talk more about that later. I've said it ad nauseum about that The Rock needs to enter the Royal Rumble to win. There's even been talk that they want to, we know they want to split the belts, but there is actually talk of having The Rock challenge for one title and having Cody challenge for the other one. I completely disagree with that. I think it needs to be one person challenging for one belt. And I had my way of them getting out of it, but obviously that didn't happen once they had Austin do his wasted cash in. But I'm against that idea of having, you face The Rock on night one, you face Cody on night two, or you have Roman and The Rock face for both titles. But then when it comes to Cody, he just challenges for one title. I don't know how you do that. Um, you know, I said you could do that with a heel. You know, maybe they can work that out with Roman. I thought it'd be better for somebody like Austin Theory to do that. But like I said, I don't want to get too deep. I've talked about it a lot. I don't want to get too deep into it right now. This episode is definitely more about Rhea Ripley. So give me your thoughts, what you think about that. Should Rhea Ripley win the Royal Rumble, and should Rhea Ripley go on to WrestleMania and win the Raw Women's Champion from Bianca Belair? Um, Coming up after this, like I said, I want to do a 2023 of where I see things going, where I think it's going to go. I might wait maybe a week or two. I know I said I wasn't going to do it before the new year, but I think I'm going to do it maybe a week after the new year because I just want to see if we can sort of get an idea of what's going to happen because a big piece of it is that championship match. And it does make a difference if The Rock is going to be involved or if it's just going to be Cody. It does make a difference on where I'm going with this, where I see Sheamus going, where I see Gunther going, where I see Drew McIntyre. Um, Reportedly, they want to do Brock versus Gunther. I have mixed feelings on that, but I'll talk about that later. But again, I hope everybody enjoyed their Christmas. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, please subscribe. Please leave your comments. Please like the videos, and I will talk to you soon. Happy New Year.